Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Chaos. The Chaos started at about 7 o'clock this evening because, for those who aren't aware, there are two WSL2 games on this evening. Sunderland are currently 1-0 up against Forest, yes, and Portsmouth are 2-0 up against Charlton at the Valley. And of course, the lovely Graham has been keeping us updated. He's in the comments, and Graham, I did watch it back, that first goal. White House did get fouled, so it shouldn't have stood. But yeah, 77th minute there. I've got it on just out the corner of my eye here. And Portsmouth looking like a brand new team, to be honest. But I suppose, Kai, these first matches back after internationals are always a bit hit and miss, aren't they? So really, if you're a team like Portsmouth, you're going to want to hit this one straight away. Charlton, aren't
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the best time to cause an upset. I think
Yeah.
it's the best shot you have. I mean, Charlton have been on a crazy run, so it's impressive.
It is. It really is. And like people are saying in the chat as well, kind of everyone apart from Charlton fans want Charlton to lose. So it makes it a bit more of a title race.
I know the feeling as a Chelsea fan.
You're a Chelsea fan, you don't mention it. Yeah, because at the minute, for people who may not know, at the top of the WSL2 table, Charlton are 9 points in front. And it's looking like if Portsmouth can do this, then they will, put themselves, again, a little bit of a further buffer ahead of Ipswich Town, and actually will see themselves jump. Hang on, let me just check when this was. 11th of March. So a minute ago. Okay, so yeah. So this is purely up to date. So Portsmouth are now off the bottom spot, level on points with Sheffield, one behind Durham. If they keep this win, which, looking at Charlton's chances, yeah, isn't that great. So so this could be massive for Portsmouth and for staying up. But yeah, we went straight in there. Hello everyone. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for talking already. I mean, Graham was here at 5:45 the evening, giving us updates. So Graham gets brownie points. Brownie points. I promise I haven't been drinking. I'm just tired. I have a teething baby who is going through a growth spurt, so it's not the best. But yeah, Phil's Russian chat there. Charlton behind, yes. So good evening there. Evening, Uncle Tony. Evening, Mark. Evening, Emily. Lovely to see you. Evening to our lovely Chris. Evening, Nessie. Who else have we got? Everyone. I think that's everyone I've said hello to, so thank you very much. So it is myself and the lovely Kai. Just for a little while, Paul is somewhere in the ether. We'll bring him in as soon as he's available. But yes, as Emily rightly says, it's a big 3 points for Portsmouth if they can hold out for the win. So fingers crossed. Now, it hasn't just been these two games, of course. Just checking in, still 1-0 at Sunderland. There was the Coppa della Reina semi-finals. There was the first leg of the Coppa Italia semi-finals on tonight as well. We've got the NWSL coming back at the weekend. We've got usual league matches resuming as well. And we've also had some Tier 3 and 4 games on this evening as well. So lots and lots to digest. Now, this is our international roundup from the last week. So because there were 25 games going on just in Europe, what we're going to do, we've got all of the results, and we're just going to pick out some key results, key moments for teams who did maybe better than expected, those who maybe should have got more points. And of course, we've got the latest from the Asian Women's Cup and a bit on the She Believes as well, because so much football. But what we do want to do first is just have a moment and send our condolences, because something incredibly devastating did happen this week. And we just wanted to take a moment for an incredible young player called Amelia Applin. And for those who may not know, she was a player at the Oxford United Academy, and she was playing a game against Fulham, and she devastatingly collapsed on the pitch, and later passed away. And as members of the football community, and I'm sure everyone in the chat will have either seen this or be affected by this in some way, we just wanted to make sure that we all kind of came together to share Amelia's name with you all, and remember her, and her love of football this evening. So yeah, no one should ever go to football, go and do something they love, and unfortunately not make it home. So we just want to send our love, send our deepest condolences, and take a moment for Amelia at the start of the show. Now, international break then. So as I mentioned in the intro, we had lots of different cups, tournaments, and all sorts going on. And there's a lot to pick from those, both emotionally, politically, and we're going to try and summarize it as best we can. Now, Kai, we're actually going to start with you because the Asian Women's Cup is back for another iteration. And we really wanted to take this time to praise India, don't we? Your home nation, of course, because not only have they had a roller coaster of a time since the 80s, really.
Yeah.
Because I was, knowing we were going to talk about it tonight, I did a little bit of research, and even the, Wikipedia pages, golden years, decline, and it's like, oh, and your heart goes out, doesn't it? Because you know exactly what these people have gone through. But yes, the team qualified for the first time this year on merit, so doing incredibly well. But unfortunately, their campaign has been plagued by kit malfunctions and just things that shouldn't be happening in the modern game. But before we talk about the negatives, we're going to start with the positives, because there has been video evidence going around the internet of a particular goal, hasn't there? So for people who haven't seen it, can you talk about what should probably be the goal of the tournament, please?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a free kick from one of our best players, Manisha Kalyan. Like, she's one of, I think, 2 or 3 players who play outside of India. So she plays for Alianza Lima in Peru, and she's just moved there, I think, for this season. And a lot was expected of Manisha because she is our star player. And in the first 2 games, let's not even talk about the Japan game, because I think India were well out of our depth in that sense. But the game against Vietnam, I felt like the team couldn't quite bring Manisha into the game. But obviously against Taiwan, I thought India did really well to bring Manisha into the game. And this free kick essentially comes from a really silly foul from a Chinese Taipei player off the ball, just pushes, I can't remember which Indian player it was, but she pushes this player down off the ball. There's a VAR check for a potential red card. I feel like in Europe, I've actually really enjoyed the VAR intervention in the Asian Cup. I feel like they've not been ridiculous handing out red cards, because there have been moments where it's like an orange and they've gone like the way, not to the extent that player safety is not taken care of, but I still feel like I've enjoyed it, to be honest, the refereeing in general. Coming to this free kick, she has a crazy left foot, and it's an absolute rocket, like top corner, and it kind of hits the underside of the crossbar, and the ball kind of comes out back to play. And then, I was watching the game and I thought, oh, that's a big missed opportunity. And of course, VAR later in the review, we can see how it actually crosses the line entirely, the ball. So, it's a beautiful free kick. For those who haven't seen, do check that out, because it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it is. And you can just see Manisha's face, can't you? She's like, no, VAR, come on, go on the monitor. You need to check
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was just, and I thought it was such a pivotal moment of we've got this, we can do it, we've got that quality. Watch where we can go next, essentially, because
Mhm.
they almost didn't have a kit to play, did they? So this was it was the Federation, I believe that hang on, get my vowels right. The AIFF.
FF, yes.
They sent, because I didn't realize they didn't have a sponsorship deal with
Hmm.
any kit supplier,
Yeah.
which in itself is quite unheard of now, isn't it? Because
Hmm.
obviously we see the Lionesses and everything they do with Nike, and all these beautiful kits that are made around the world, and you just assume naively that there
Mm.
are sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
So wasn't it they sent the wrong size kits? They were like large boys kits,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It,
which
it it was like
they
for youth groups, basically. The kid sizes were. Yeah, I mean the fiasco around, like fiasco leading up to the tournament. I mean, honestly, for those of us who've been following, it's not that the kid thing is acceptable. It's just that it wasn't a massive, massive shock because
it's the
uh,
wrong
when
thing.
India qualified, like India beat Thailand in the qualifiers, and the moment that happened, AIFF made a whole lot of promises. The first, I think, the big one for me was that the league would start in August and end in December,
Okay.
and then like the team would have like an entire season under their belt, and then they would have a bunch of practice matches. Initially, they said it would be in China, and then they said it would be in Turkey. India was supposed to play the Turkish women's team, I think, and that got cancelled. So there's been a lot of things. Oh yeah, and the league that was supposed to start in August started in like end of December. So basically, the league is paused right now. So basically, what you see is women uh, like who've not had enough game time under their belt. I
Yeah.
feel like they've not had enough game time under their belt. The second thing is the teams that we played leading up to the tournament were not necessarily teams that challenged us.
Yeah.
Because I think we played a bunch of friendlies in Australia as well, but not this is not with like the A League. It was with like a second, third tier clubs. Um, so I mean you're going to the Asian Cup, so many of these teams, even in your own group, even in India's group, we had like Japan, who regularly make the World Cup, who are world champions, like former world champions, and you also have Vietnam, who have played at the World Cup. So like in the last couple of cycles, this is not like ancient history.
Yeah.
So you I mean the preparation let the team down massively, and yeah, I mean that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to football in India. Interestingly enough, the point that you made, Freya, about the golden years and then the decline,
Mm.
we've been doing like live watch alongs for as many games as possible because it is in like human hours here in India. So I mean, I've been watching football all day long. So
Good.
in the chat, somebody mentioned about how with the like increased focus on cricket in India, uh, all the other sports have actually suffered in some sense, because
Okay.
there is in some ways like an over investment in cricket,
Mm.
and a severe under investment in other sports. And like to some extent, a lot of people in the chat were, because we do have some people who watch from the UK, and they were saying, you have like a billion people, like why aren't you better at sports? And I don't know how to explain this to people. It's just like the sporting culture in India, like to some extent begins and ends with cricket. Like of course there, like I'm talking about, like of course there are like really hardcore sports fans, right? Like people who follow hockey, as in like field hockey,
Yeah.
and tennis and football and all of that. But then largely the mainstream population, if you will,
Mm.
watch cricket and are satisfied with cricket. The funny thing is, every 4 years what you see is, every time the Olympics comes around, or the Commonwealth Games, or the Asian Games, like these are three like major you know um, events that India participate in. And Every time one of those like events roll around, there's conversations around how like the sporting culture in India is shit and like there's no investment, but then we just go back to normal, like nothing really changes. So I mean, it's a much longer conversation. The other thing I wanted to mention, I am meandering a little bit, but this I thought was very telling, because so the we did a live watch along for, I think, Bangladesh versus North Korea, no, China. That was the first game,
Yeah.
and we had, I think, and I'm not saying this is like a measure of interest in football, but to some extent, I do feel like, because we're not like a massive channel or anything, right? But like right now, if you look at that video, we have upwards of 40,000 views
Wow.
for the Bangladesh versus China game. It was very active in the chat. People were showing a lot of love, and then it kind of like went down a little bit as maybe the team was not winning, so that always has an effect. But compare that to India, when the watch along ended, we had about, for the first match against Vietnam, we had about 1,700, 1,800 views. So
Wow.
that's the gap.
Yeah.
um, and there was news floating around. People who were at the stadium said Vietnam had this massive contingent of people, like they were loud, they were sat together, and India had like 20 people in the stands. And India probably have like the biggest diaspora in Australia, one of the biggest, if not the biggest. So like, just generally shows the lack of interest in football as well. uh, so yeah, I mean, a lot of different things to think about, to be honest.
Yeah, and in terms of development as well, and just while we're talking, I see a Paul. Here he is. Evening.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Don't worry, don't worry. Nottingham Forest have got a penalty in the Sunderland match in the last minute of added time. Demi Lambourne, please serve this. Please serve it, please serve it, please serve it. Normal
Well,
service will
well,
resume after this.
I was going to say, well, Freya's suffering, Kai. I was going
Yes!
to congratulate.
Oh, no.
There we
Oh,
go.
no.
Live reaction.
No. Demi Lambourne went the right way. She got that, but the rebound went in. Oh, that could have been points. Oh, at least it still should be one. Just don't do anything stupid in the final 2 minutes. Yeah, Amy Claypool annoyingly stepping up. Lambourne goes the right way, parries it, and then she gets the rebound. Oh, my heart. Whew. But yeah, 1-1. Damn it. To Sunderland. But yeah, Kai, just the final thing there. I mean, someone put in the chat this one. India
Yeah,
0, Japan 11. But if
I'd
anyone
forgotten
looks
about
at
it. Thanks for reminding me.
someone reminded me about the Villa Spurs results last night, and I was like, oh god, I forgot that happened. But this isn't kind of all it seems, is it? Because yes, anyone who maybe doesn't follow football might look at that and go, oh god, like that's awful. But like you tweeted, and I will still say tweeted until the cows come home,
What did I
about
say?
the fact that actually you can't compare the two really, because Japan are so technically incredible and have the
Yeah.
investment, and like you said, regular qualifiers for the World Cup. They're just at a completely different level right now. So in terms of playing against teams like Japan, is it more of a like more of the experience that needs to come from that for the team rather than
So,
an expectation of winning? If that makes
like,
sense.
what I'll say is, like, 11-0, it's a bad scoreline. But I also do believe that doesn't maybe necessarily reflect where India are. I think
Mm.
India just got like incredibly overwhelmed by a very good team, and I mean, it was a second string team as well. It was. I mean, like, just Rico Ueki got a hat trick in the second half. Like, she came off the bench at halftime and scored a hat trick. And we know Rico Ueki is a very, very good player.
Mm.
Miyazawa got a hat trick. So, like, so I don't necessarily think this reflects where India are, because if you look at the other two games, India could have had a draw against Vietnam. It's one of those things where, fatigue creeps in and you can see the difference in the fitness levels of the two teams to some extent. And
Yeah.
it was a very, very silly goal to concede towards the end. Honestly, even against Taiwan, um, I felt like, so it's 1-1 at like close to half time, and then towards the like around the stoppage time mark, India conceded a really silly penalty. It's a handball where Pyari has her hand sort of flopping around in the box. It's basics like tuck your hand behind,
Yeah.
things like that, entirely avoidable. The third goal again, like, so the point that I'm trying to make is, when you looked at India playing against Vietnam and Chinese Taipei, what you felt like, I genuinely felt like we were quite close to these two teams.
Yeah.
Maybe with like better preparation, we could have got like maybe 1 point, 2 points across during this group stages, but unfortunately that was not to be. But of course, like with Japan, I found the tactical aspect a little interesting because, after you concede a goal in like the fourth minute or something, and then by 20 minutes in, you're like 4-0 down or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, just shut shop. Like, I don't understand what the point you're trying to make is. But the issue is, like, Amelia Valverde, we know Amelia Valverde as a coach. She obviously coached Costa Rica and took them to a couple of World Cups. So
Yes.
he's an experienced coach. And like, I respect that there was a desire to play a slightly more expansive style of football. And honestly, I'm glad India did, like, not just sit deep and just defend, because that could. But the only thing is, maybe against Japan, it might have been like practically a better idea to just sit back, because we saw Taiwan only conceding two, Vietnam only conceding four
Mm.
against Japan. So it was a possibility. It's just things just went extremely out of control, and um, because we were neither playing expansive football, like we were not able to make simple passes, but at the same time, I don't think maybe defensively India can be as organized as a Chinese Taipei, because I mean that was diabolical, the low block that Chinese Taipei had against Japan. Like, honestly, every single player in the box, it was. I mean, the match was almost unwatchable. I'm not gonna lie, but fair enough, fair enough. But I also don't think India could have been as organized as Chinese Taipei could have been. So, I mean, 11-0, not a good scoreline. Could have and should have been like 5-6-0, but again, that's also not a great scoreline. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, the unfortunate reality is, like, at points when I looked at Twitter, there was more outrage about the scoreline than the kid fiasco, from like
And
people who don't watch women's
yeah.
football in India. So yeah, it's I think there's a lot of important lessons that this team can take back, because I mean, we need to remember that like nobody in this team has played at a major tournament
Yeah.
in their career. So you have a young crop of players, um, maybe in the next cycle, who will have this tournament experience. You have like the youth teams doing considerably better. Um,
Mm.
and so you'll have a young crop of players who have more experience coming in, because, at moments you knew it was the experience that was lacking. Like against Vietnam, you have a point, you're 1-1 at like 94 minutes, just keep them out. You need to figure out a way to keep them out,
Yeah. Boot it
it's
away. Don't try and be clever with it. Just
yeah,
literally.
go to the corner flag, it's fine, like
Yeah.
simple things. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully there's a lot more lessons. I mean, I want to be optimistic and say, you know oh, we'll be better the next time around. But honestly, with this federation, I am not really sure if we'll make it into the next Asian Cup. You know,
Yeah.
there's like a serious rebuild that needs to be done. Excuse me.
Mm.
And I'm not really sure if we'll see that happen. But hopefully it does, and maybe, yeah, we make it out of the group stages next time around.
I hope so, because it's the most heartbreaking thing when the players want to be there. Everything is there apart from the one thing that they do need, that is the support from the federation. So yeah, if anyone from the federation is listening, if you get your finger out, please, and improve.
Also, just one last thing I forgot to mention earlier. The whole Amelia Valverde appointment, hilarious, right? So you have Crispin Chetri, who is still part of the coaching staff, who was basically the manager during the qualifiers. And then I think when India qualified for the Asian Cup, the federation got some money from Coca-Cola, I think. And they were like, okay, you know what? We're going to appoint a new manager. And it's a short-term contract. She's off at the end of the Asian Cup, so she's off, I think, right now.
Okay, yeah.
And the appointment comes 6 weeks before the tournament, so it's. I mean,
so she didn't really have time to.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell, even throughout the 3 games, you could tell how she was still trying to figure out her best 11. It doesn't help that you didn't play like teams that are really strong in your path leading up to like the Asian Cup, like the during the time leading up to the Asian Cup. And she, I don't think, had figured out her best 11, like something as simple as having Manisha play more centrally. Like I was pretty surprised how, because she is the one, she's probably our most physical player, especially in the front, the forward part of the pitch. And you could see the difference she was making against Taiwan. So it's she was figuring things out, and can't really blame her, honestly. I think she did the best she could with what she had. A couple of decisions here and there, of course, you can always question a manager's decisions, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, going into the tournament, what I wanted to see was a goal, so that like we can celebrate with the team. We got that with Vietnam, and we got an absolute beauty from Manisha against Taiwan. So yeah, to some extent, I'm kind of happy with how things turned out.
Well, that's the thing, and sometimes it is about those small wins, isn't it? Just like, yeah, we're going to get a goal, and we're going to celebrate that, and then next time we're going to, and it's just unfortunately keeping the faith and the belief, isn't it, that something will change and that enough pressure is put on. Chris says there, more needs to be done for women's sport in different countries. Yeah, women's sport in general, and in particular this case of football as well. Yeah, because we now know the quarter-finalists for the Asian Women's Cup, which takes place on Friday morning in British Standard Time. So we've got Australia versus Democratic Republic of Korea, China versus Chinese Taipei, South Korea versus Uzbekistan, and Japan versus the Philippines. The winners of those quarterfinals go through automatic qualification for the World Cup, while the losers, play a play-in qualifier match to see which 2 teams get the remaining qualifying spots as well. So a lot of big names still in there. Now, full time in the WSL2, so it did finish 1-1 Sunderland Forest, which means they are still 1 point apart in the table. How annoying is that? But Charlton are officially defeated this season. Paul, how much of a massive win for Portsmouth is that tonight?
What, winning away at a team that haven't lost in a year and a bit? I would say that's quite big.
It's all right, isn't it? All right result.
Hence my topical tag.
Yes,
but
very good. Just
Portsmouth have done the bit where they pull their fingers out again, haven't they?
They have
the second part of the season, and they almost seem to have responded to Ipswich, because Ipswich women have obviously, we talked about how they recruited strongly in the transfer window, and we talked about how we were slightly worried for Portsmouth because of that.
Yep.
And then they go and do this. I mean, I think they did earn it because Charlton made a big thing of unbeaten in 2025, back in 2026, and you're like, oh yeah.
It just puts a target on their backs, doesn't it? Like, right.
You know where this is going. The football gods and goddesses are not mocked, and they'll see something like that and go right. But also 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. It's a classic smash and grab away win, isn't it? From the looks of things, because Collins after 4 minutes. Georgie Freeland, formerly of Southampton, amazed Southampton let her go, to be honest, because she's a very good young player. Scoring after 9 minutes, outshot 14-4. Although only 2 of Charlton's shots were on targets. Portsmouth only had 6 touches in the opposition box all game. And it's a classic smash and grab win. I mean, Charlton would double the possession. Charlton would double the possession. All the tackles were much more. Obviously, the numbers were fairly close, but more in favour of Portsmouth, as you'd expect. Portsmouth with 4 yellow cards, which is your classic shithouse win. Total clearances, though, 13 during the match from Charlton, 44 from Portsmouth defence.
Dear me.
So we've had a classic rear guard action going on there.
Yeah, because Graham was tweeting us, and he was like, "I think there was a foul on that first one." And I've watched it back. I think there was. I think Sophie Whitehouse did get brought down, but of course wasn't given. And then, of course, the second one, as you say, was really well taken. So you can't complain about that one. However, I have to say, Chris's comment.
Ipswich have 2 games in hand. Yeah, that's the women.
Yes. So what I was going to do, because I thought there's no point making league tables because I knew things were going to shift tonight. So what I'll do, I'll just share my screen really quickly with the current standings so everyone can kind of see. Does that come up all right?
And of course, Coventry Ben are in action. So thank you, Mark, my fellow Coventry fan.
Penalty.
I've got the old sky blue eyeliner today, of course.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, that was as well. That was Portsmouth breaking a 5-game losing streak, and that's incredible thing, because me and Kai were saying before you came on, like, if this is the time to kind of catch these teams after international break when they haven't played for a while, when people have been off with their national teams. So now coming back, this is the time to pounce, and it's what they did. But yeah, if we're looking at games in hand, I mean, Ipswich have still got 2, Sheffield have still got 3, Durham have got 1, Sunderland have got 2, Nottingham have got 1, Southampton's got 1, 2 for Newcastle, 1 each for Bristol and Palace, 2 for so pretty much everyone apart from Charlton and Portsmouth have still got games in hand by the looks of it. Which is a messy fixture list, to say the least. But that's, I suppose, when you get to this part of the season, you've got FA Cup and stuff like that. Sorry, I moved wrong and my hamstring yelled at me.
Oh no.
Leg, not arm, by the way, Emily. I did see you ask. I am now on much stronger painkillers.
Oh no!
I'm just working my way up through things, and getting shouted at because Kerry, are you letting me know the Sky Blues have scored? 3-0. Get in.
There we go. 3-0. Mark's on it as well.
Charlton are beating Middlesbrough. Graham, I'm a Charlton fan for now, because Charlton are beating Middlesbrough. That means the Sky Blues, the women's team might have lost, but if I can pick a Charlton team to win tonight, it works both ways, because WSL2 is still interesting, and Charlton beating Middlesbrough means that Middlesbrough can fuck off back a little while, and Ipswich dropped points last night.
So it's all working out quite nicely, isn't it?
I'm still not saying anything. I'm a Coventry City fan. I know I'm used to happening, and don't worry, Emily. It could be, it could be worse. I wish I could bloody forget. I'll tell you. But yes, If I get crazier the next little while, it's because I'm now up to the 500 milligrams of naproxen in order to be able to function, which for anyone medical is plus 30 plus the strongest possible codeine you can get prescribed as well. So I'm on the level of painkillers where they have to give you extra stuff to protect your stomach lining when you take them.
Makes me feel a bit funny.
But yes, returning back to topic. Now we've had my update from the Sky Blues.
But no, I was just looking up the fixtures there because Chris has just said next Wednesday we've got games as well. We do. We've got United, Birmingham City, and Sunderland, Sheffield as well.
Which
next
United?
Wednesday. Oh, Newcastle.
I was going to say, would there be
about too?
Yeah, there's still 3 of them. Sheffield as well. Could have been Sheffield.
Yeah, but because normally when you say United, it's Man United, isn't it? But to me,
talk, by the way, that the Newcastle United PR machine is still desperately rolling because the BBC had, I don't think it was Emma Sanders, but it was definitely possibly one of their big writers had a big Newcastle are setting their sights on the WSL, and it's like, piss off.
Are they? It's like they might, and that's lovely for them, but that's the same as saying Sheffield have got their sights on the WSL in their future, maybe, but it's not going to happen this season.
No, Tony, the type of painkillers I needed when I supported Cove when they were shit were lots of alcohol.
Drink responsibly, kids. Right.
Unless you're a Coventry City fan.
You know the pain.
I've commentated games on a mix of codeine and vodka, so I don't recommend it. But I'd just like to point out I'm not.
Yes, just a professional disclaimer there. Paul does not.
It was ice hockey, and it was 15 years ago, so it wasn't football or anything.
Oh, Paul, Katie Gornall, that's who did the article. Chris.
Fair enough. It seems like it's one of those. Let's give it to one of the staffers and see how they can write about it. And they picked Newcastle because they're a big club rather than because Charlton are boring in the sense that I saw a guy giggle then. Sorry, Charlton are boring in the sense that if you put Charlton set their sights on the WSL, it probably doesn't get anywhere near as many clicks as Newcastle United women. Blah 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 blah.
Maybe it just shows you, though, doesn't it? The fan base and what's actually going to get clicks.
It's one of those. It's one of those. We're still in the problem where women's football media is the reporting often doesn't reflect what's going on the pitch because of the need to get clicks and PR and stuff. Yeah,
100%. And it's just, and that's not fair because the team that's at the top should get the attention. Now, speaking of stories that do need attention, one more thing from the Asian Women's Cup before we move on to Europe and everything in between that happened in this break as well. We need to take a moment for the Iranian women's national team and what is going on there, because it's just incomprehensible what is actually happening. So for those people who don't know, the Iranian women's team refused to sing the national anthem of their regime ahead of their match. Was it South Korea, I think? They refused to sing the anthem. And then their next match, they did sing it, but in salute the entire time. So it was clear that they were then being forced, allegedly, to do this. So they're treading this unprecedented path of what's now come out as government officials were kind of undercover in their camp, and these officials have been around them the whole time. Apparently they had their money taken off them, passports taken off them. Like there was a lot of control, like they didn't have anything essentially. So what's happened now, 5 of the players have been given humanitarian visas from Australia, so they are allowed to stay, work, study, live. They are protected by the Australian government now. The rest of the team have been offered those as well. It wasn't just the 5, but the concerns are, of course, that if anything is happening, it will be to their families back home, and they wanted to return to just make sure their families were safe. And you just think, again, how is this being allowed to happen, where countries are doing this to their own citizens, and that we take freedom of speech for granted a lot in this country, I think. But yeah, for every detail that's coming out, it just gets more farcical and just completely unbelievable. Brisbane Roar as well have offered them places to train and play with them, welcoming them into the community. So from the Australian side of it, they are there, they are protecting them, regardless of what that orange donut says in America. And it for the Iranian state, like, it's just horrendous. Like, I don't have any other words for it, but what are they doing? But yeah, Paul, have you got any thoughts?
We know that the Iranian state is essentially a religious dictatorship.
Yes.
In the way it's been run for many, many years. And it is an incredibly oppressive regime. And for all the results around that, there is a legit argument for asylum, and good on Australia for having done it with the people that they
and done it very, very quickly as well. Apparently, they were at the hotel very, covert to make sure the players got out safely. Essentially,
I mean, when you hear about it, it's a wider thing. It's terrifying how sports and politics have always mixed, and all the people who say keep politics out of sport and all of that are idiots. Oh. And again, it's always interesting how they only say keep politics out of sports when it's stuff, usually, for want of a better word, left-wing stroke woke stuff, when it's keep politics out of sports. And it's usually the more authoritarian, conservative side of people who talk about it. But we've seen more than ever politics is linked with sport, because we've seen the way that the USA has adopted sport in the same way. And for anyone who studied history, it's horrific, because it's very reminiscent of the Nazi regime. It's very reminiscent of the Italian fascist regime, the Soviet regimes, and oppressive regimes in the Middle and Far East, because sport is soft power, obviously, and clearly the Iranian government has decided, right, if they're representing our country, we're going to make sure that they're on message, particularly with a particular situation. And I believe there was a bit of an issue initially, because people were like, why aren't Australia doing anything? Because they were kind of like, and Trump was yelling about how they were going to be sent back, because, as we all know, if you want to hear from someone who definitely cares about protecting women and women's rights, it's Donald Trump.
Well, that made us laugh, because he put on his social media, saw a picture of it. You are welcome in the US. We'll get you a visa if Australia continue to not do anything about it. How dare you, Australia, and all this. And it's like, but you've stopped visas from Iran, like, because
you've stopped visas.
You made a very big thing about it. Like, why? I have no idea. But yeah, he tried to come across as, we'll save you, as this big savior. And but by the sounds of it, Australia were doing their business very quietly and making sure the players were safe, which is the way it should have been done. Yeah, not just tweeting, just go to the hotel now to get the girls. Like, Who would? I mean,
This
Trump
is
would do that.
this is where the difference is, though, because the whole thing about authoritarian. I know this is a football podcast, and occasionally we get into political theory and stuff, but the whole thing about regimes like Iran, like the USA now, and it's amazing we're talking about the Iranian regime and the US regime and making a legitimate comparison between a religious dictatorship and Iran. And basically, sorry, that was too much. The USA isn't technically a religious dictatorship yet, but
Give it time. Yeah.
the fact that we are making comparisons between the US and Iran and saying they are both operating in the same way with regards to sport, because obviously we saw the way the US women's hockey team was treated and the men's hockey team was
mentioned that
treated,
last week, didn't we? Yeah.
and all the mess about that, which we won't go over again.
No. It just
It's all
shows
about
you
public image. It's all about
the image.
sound and fury, whereas actual adult governments like Australia.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really annoying me about it is we haven't really seen. On the one hand, you've got people yelling, "Why aren't women's football media talking more about this?" and all that sort of stuff. We don't know if there are advice from the government in place in Australia to say, don't talk about this, stuff is being done.
And that's the thing, isn't it? You don't know how much red tape to protect people there is.
It has annoyed me that all the people, we've once again had a situation where people who don't normally care about women's football suddenly care about it because we must protect the Iranian women and we must do this, that, and the other. And look at the British government or the Australian government or the woke people who aren't talking about it. And it's like, so these women are bargaining chips to you. You don't really want to protect them.
And at the end of the day, no one wants to report false information, do they? So unless it comes from those official channels, it could then be quite dangerous in these situations to report false news. So yeah, it's been hard because you want to support.
Just a couple of things that I wanted to add.
Go for it.
So the first match that Iran play come like hours after the airstrikes that happened in Iran. Like literally hours. It's Ramadan, right? It's Ramadan, and and it comes literally hours after the airstrikes that happened in Iran. And I think the point that Paul made is super important. The fact that Iranian women not singing the national anthem, which is the theocratic regime's national anthem, it went viral, and it went viral for a reason, right? Because there are very specific narratives that are being built through this. And I'm not saying take the agency away from the Iranian women. They made a very clear choice to do it, and they're facing like really unfortunate consequences of having done that. Now, politics in sports, I feel like the conversation here is a little incomplete because, like, a couple of years ago, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and in Lebanon and in Jordan that happened. We remember Celine Haider, who was like Lebanon's like up and coming star player, captain, who basically got a brain injury because of Israeli airstrikes. Granted, she was not playing football when it happened, but her home was struck and she is still in recovery. She is still like going through physical therapy, speech therapy, etc. I just checked out her like an update on her recovery, where she's at. We know that Palestinian footballers, male and female, have been attacked by the IDF. So the whole conversation is extremely complex, and more power to the Iranian women who, I mean, 7 of them initially chose to stay back in Australia, and then 2 of them changed their minds because obviously the families are being threatened. That's the only explanation, right? And one of the players who was the last one to say, "Hey, I'll stay back," basically said she managed to catch a conversation with her mother, and she basically told her, "Do not come back." So it's going to be really bad for these women who are going back to Iran, of course. And right now, I think they've been moved to Malaysia very quickly so that they can't, they can't seek asylum. So that's been done. But yeah, I think sports and politics, there's a lot that's happening in Western Asia, and I think it's an extremely complex situation. And I think if you rarely do you agree with somebody like a Donald Trump, and if you do end up agreeing with Donald Trump, just take it for granted that there's a lot more to the story, a lot more than what meets the eye, So yeah, it is extremely complex. I feel like the Western media is all, I mean, listen, I will be hypocritical if I don't call out like India's position on Palestine in the last few years. Like, for the longest time, India were extremely pro-Palestine, and when the current government came into power, we started abstaining from voting in the Israel-Palestine issues, and now we have actually started siding with Israel. So, like, my country is no better than like yours or the United States or whatever. But I think it's a really, really complex sort of situation, and I can't help but feel like the narrative around this is being very, very carefully curated. So just putting that out there as well.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's a really hard story to navigate because there are so many different angles and things that we don't know that have been kept quiet. And of course, we're only hearing snippets of the story. But I think what we can, of course, all agree on is just that we hope they're going to be okay. The players who are going back home, and you just wish she could do something about it. But and just
serious, there would be insistences on monitoring the players that are going back, because it would be very easy for Americans with all the resources they have to do that. But the thing that worries me is that it will all be this, and then they'll disappear back into Iran and disappear back into the fog of war, and all the people who are so loud now will just be like, well, we can't do anything. What do you expect us to do?
Yeah.
Well, you were yelling about it a few days ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, like you said, if there are ways to keep an eye on those women and their families and hoping that they're safe, then we hope it's possible that it can be done. So yeah, for those governments who do genuinely want to protect these women, and not just saying it for clout, we hope that something can be.
I think we're in a problem with a lot of women's sports at the moment, and picking up on what Kai said about how narratives are being very carefully managed, particularly in the US and on the right hand side of the political spectrum. One should take any mention of the phrase protecting women with an absolute mind's worth of salt, because we've seen the phrase protecting women twisted by the US and elements in Britain in particular to justify some of the most heinous stuff against trans people. And I suspect all of this is coming from a similar place with that as well, in the sense that this makes Iran look bad, and Iran are the enemy of the big bad guys of whoever, and the US want the oil and the strategic.
Yeah, so people using it for their own gain rather than for actual protection. But yeah,
we'll come back to the political narrative when we talk about the Republic of Ireland women, because there's all sorts of mess with them as well in the next little while. But that's what we actually talk about, because if we start talking about that now, we'll never mention any of the other kids.
That will never get through. Yes, you are correct. So we just wanted to kind of bring the story to light again and hope that, you know, if anything can be done, then it is. And we do, at the end of the day, just hope these women are safe. And if they can possibly, if they do then want to leave at some point, then they can to wherever they feel safe. But yeah, awful situation to be in. Now that we did have, I mentioned earlier, the Coppa Italia semi-final first leg was on this evening. Fiorentina versus Juventus. Juventus won 2-0, so they're going into the second leg with a 2-goal advantage. And we also had Atletico versus Tenerife in the Copa de la Reina semi-final, and Atletico got just a single goal, 1-0 for them. So they are now through to the semis. No multiple legs there in Spain. And then Roma versus Inter is on tomorrow night, and FC Barcelona versus Barcelona is also on tomorrow night as well. So keep an eye out for those. We also had the She Believes Cup over the break as well. The USA won that. Shock. Won all 3 of their matches, and Canada were runners-up in there as well. And then it was pretty much all European qualifiers apart from that. So 25 games on each match day. We went through, of course, match day 1 last time we were on air. So go check that out if you missed it. And we're going to bring you the results from match day 2. So like I said earlier, I've got all of the results just like we did last week, and we're just going to pick a few of them and talk through what we thought stood out. So this was League A after match day 2 with some of the results, and quite happily, England are at the top of their group on goal difference. How good is that? So Group A1, Denmark with a draw against Italy. I was gutted. I'm going to talk about that one. I've got my Italy top on tonight. Italy have been so unlucky in this tournament. And Martina Piemonte, she started this game, she got the goal, and it was 1-0, and it was great. And then Denmark had just like this spurt of energy from somewhere. And Pernilla Harder, she missed a penalty, so it could have actually been a loss. So Italy lucky to get the draw in the end, but yeah, it did end 1-1 with Italy and Denmark. Uncle Tony there saying we were absolutely crap against Serbia. Yeah, Sweden having an interesting one. And I said this last week. Sweden, again, they were playing Italy match day 1, got really lucky with that Angeldal goal. And that's how they got their 3 points in that one. But yeah, it wasn't a great match, to be honest, against Serbia. But hey, they got a point with a goalless draw in the end. But Serbia are bottom of Group A1. But yeah, Kai, Paul, any games there that you caught, or any results that stand out for you that you want to talk about from any group?
I mean, no, go on. You go first, Kai.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't caught too many games because I've fixed my sleep cycle because of the Asian Cup. I'm sleeping early, waking up early. Very disciplined. But yeah, I think the Netherlands Ireland game, I think, is an interesting one because obviously I thought Ireland were very good against France. They were pretty unlucky to have a loss, I think. But in this particular game, it's really interesting, right? Like with Sweden as well as Netherlands, they have new managers. Obviously, Gustafsson is now managing Sweden. I'd like to, for those in the chat, if you can let us know what the setup looks like and how the team's playing, that would be great. I mean, the scoreline says the story. But yeah, I mean, I think even Netherlands look a bit shaky overall. I think they had a draw against Poland as well. I don't think the performance was super convincing from the highlights that I watched. But obviously, like my sister lives in the Netherlands. She's a big Netherlands fan. So Yeah, so that's definitely a team that I try to keep a close eye on. But yeah, I mean, really curious about Sweden as well. I think I'll have to catch up on some of these games. Obviously, caught up on the England Iceland game, but I'm sure you guys will have a lot to say. Oh yes, Norway Germany. Oh my god, I did catch a lot of that game. Oh, Norway, every time, like I see the team sheet and I'm like, okay, yeah, this team is,
Yeah, they've got the
like you
names.
have
Come on, this
Dobson.
is the day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is their chance. This is their moment. And then getting absolutely smashed 4-0, like,
Yeah.
to some extent, I would actually say it's a scoreline that's very flattering to Norway because Germany were incredibly dominant. And I know the scorelines have been pretty massive for Germany. I think they beat Slovenia 5-0, 5-1. And this is another big
5-0, yeah.
scoreline for them. But I think Germany are peaking at the right time if they can keep going. And some of those players like Clara Bull is not even playing. You have Enderman who's like absolutely tearing it up. Scored a couple of goals. Sens is playing really well. Yeah, Beulah Brand got a goal as well. So, I mean, I feel like overall, probably one of the strongest looking team in Europe, I would say. They've been very good. I think
Yeah.
I mean, unless something goes horribly wrong, I think they'll obviously, they had a terrible run in the World Cup the last time around, but this time maybe a better one.
I hope so. Yeah, because you're right. I think the attack when it clicked looked probably the best it has for a while. I know some lovely through balls from Linda Dolman as well that I caught. However, interestingly, Skeep in the chat is saying, Germany's defense was really bad, saved by the goalkeeper. Scoreline is deceiving. I mean, yeah, but when you've got, Ann-Katrin Berger in goal, because she had
I do think,
saves,
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think there were like 2 or 3 really good saves that she was forced into making. But yeah, I mean, especially the first half, Germany were just like extremely dominant. But yeah, I mean, Berger obviously, like, I just feel like with Norway, the problem is also that like every time you see the team sheet, you go in expecting more and more.
So much more. Yeah.
But yeah, they just never deliver. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know Signa Gobsets, who of course we see in the WSL, she had a really good chance on goal. And it seemed like, they've got the idea and they can go forward and they can do something. And then it just kind of falls flat, and then they can't actually convert their chances. So yes, so something not quite clicking in that Norway side, but we said it during the Euros. We've said it for a while now, haven't we? So I mean, hopefully they unlock their secrets sooner rather than later. But yeah, Paul, for you, any games stand out in League A that you want to talk about?
I mean, I want to talk about how crap Sweden are. Sorry, Tony.
Okay, go back to Sweden. Yeah,
we'll go back to Sweden because honestly, looking at the other games in that Group A, France you'd expect to beat Poland, Netherlands narrowly beating Republic of Ireland, but guys talked about that. In A4, we've already mocked Norway. Slovenia beating Austria is an interesting one, but also Austria are one of those that, down there in that kind of second tier of European nations. Slovenia are getting up towards that sort of thing.
Yeah, Austria aren't convincing now.
And they've got a couple of players injured as well, right? Like I think Herbinger is probably one of their best players, and she's not around. So
that's a
could
good
be a
shout.
factor. Yeah.
I mean, Spain only beating Ukraine 3-1 is probably a victory for Ukraine. But
yeah,
also Spain make 457 passes where England make 1, so it was probably nightmarish to watch. And
you didn't catch that one then.
we return to the Spain are still overrated conversation, which we will continue to have, and we will find out more in 2027 when all of their golden generation are a year older.
Well, that's kind of an issue we're seeing now, aren't we? We've got teams that they've got these star players, but they are aging. Oh, of course.
Sweden has still playing Kosovo Asllani at the centre of midfield and still starting at the age of 36. Like, sorry, no. Especially,
if you look at the age of their back line, I think average age was 23. I think we worked out.
I mean, Felicia Schroeder is going to be an interesting one because she's obviously young and the next big thing. Monica Yusobar as well is only 22.
Oh, she was really good against Italy. Very good.
You've got Yusobar and Schroeder, who are combined age only 4 years older than Kosovo Asllani. As a stat for you. And Joanna Ritti-Kaneryd, who I am convinced if she didn't play for Chelsea wouldn't be half as well known as she is because she's good. But
Kai's shaking their head.
Oh, I agree. I think, I mean, I'm not a big fan. I'll just leave it there.
But, like, players like Hannah Bennison should be in there now. They should be bringing players like Rosa Kafaji, Hannah Bennison through.
Yes. Yeah,
Amanda Nielden, Matilda Wimberg as well. And they're just not being brought through, even in games against Serbia. And that's
quite worrying.
Yeah.
Because we can see what they can do, yeah.
It's like, if you want, there's no succession plan. And
Tony. Oh, we do appreciate you. We do. Yeah.
And Skeep says as well, Spain crumble when they have to deal with physicality. And I think if the women's game becomes more physical, which it is.
Yeah, because you still get teams that don't know how to kind of have a bit of a push and a shove, and they just go for the foul all the time, don't they? Fall down too easily.
If Spain in the World Cup meet the likes of Canada and the USA, they'll struggle. If Spain meet African teams, they'll struggle. And the reason for that is not a stereotype. It is because African teams, in particular, because they don't meet Spain that much, have no fear, and they will go in, and you will get a Zambian or a Nigerian midfielder look at Bonmati and go, right, we'll put you in row A.
Yeah, get out my way.
Get out the way. We don't care. You know, you'll get Michelle Alozie go straight through in the way they did, because we saw the way Nigeria and Colombia as well threw England off at the World Cup.
Exactly, yeah. And just speaking about African teams really, really quickly, it wasn't announced last time we were on air. WAFCON has been officially postponed. Morocco can't fulfill their commitment, so it has been pushed back to the summer, which a summer tournament in Morocco is very different to an early spring tournament in Morocco, temperature-wise. And of course,
I suspect they will be very, very slow games.
Well, you know,
the previous WAFCON as well happened around the same time as the Euros, right? So the one that happened in 25.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it did. It was the same time as the Euros, and I mean, like once you get to the final stage, they were very end to end. I think the finals, the Nigeria versus Morocco finals, was like extremely fun watch. Yeah.
Yes, I remember the final. Yeah, it was really tight, wasn't it? There was lots going on. So yeah, that has been officially postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. Everyone knew it was going to be. So hopefully again they take care of their players, and they actually get it right this time, and they can actually provide for them. But Paul, there is a question here from Uncle Tony. I like Hannah Bennison, but out of Ziggy and Angeldal, who does she take minutes off? Because she can't even take them off Angeldal at Real Madrid.
Ziggy.
Okay.
Because I am amazed Ziggy starts ahead of Hinata Miyazawa for Man United. And I think that's because Mark Skinner likes boring players. because
I mean, she starts alongside Miyazawa, right? Zigiotti.
did she start?
It's a Zigiotti Miyazawa pivot that we've been seeing for a while now.
I mean, pivot midfielders are just the most, or with the exception, with the exception of Yuri Hasegawa and Fuka Nagano, so basically Japanese pivots, the most boring players in football. Like, they're necessary in the same way that farting is necessary. Like, everybody knows it happens and it performs a function, but nobody likes it. And
to a bodily function, dear me. But yeah, well, hey, I don't know if anything follow that, so thank you.
But that's what I mean. It's like pivot midfielders. It's one of the worst things about football, the fact that now we have these bloody pivots who are just not expected to do anything interesting, because when they're good, like Yuri Hasegawa, and you can see the technical ability and stuff, they're amazing. When they're just there and their whole function is to take the ball from defence past 5 yards sideways and stand there while everyone else does interesting stuff, like Zigiotti Olme, then they're just really hard to like, and it's the fact that there's a function on them, particularly in Europe as well, and you just look at it and go, they can easily, if your whole team is going through one midfielder, as with England and Kira Walsh, then your system doesn't work and you need to change it.
Yeah, because then, as we've seen Kira Walsh get marked out of the game, you've got nothing. Your outlet's gone. Yeah, so it's an interesting setup. But I'm trying to say that, but that's not what she does. She's a box-to-box midfielder. Well, let's hope Sweden can have a shake-up and they find their rhythm again soon, because of course they were a force to be reckoned with, weren't they? At the last one. Yes, so might as well talk about England, mightn't we? A little bit. So I was actually at this game. Me and Chloe Bear were in the press box, and we had a great old time. It was really fun. Turned out there was a spare seat next to me, so Chloe came and sat next to us because we had a nice little seating plan. And yeah, it was really good. Iceland, I know we talked about going into this match that they are quite tricky and they're quite hard to break down, and that proved completely correct. Their attack was pretty much non-existent. They just couldn't get going. Jonsdottir, I did feel sorry for it at one point because she would get to like the halfway line, maybe get a couple of steps across it, and I was like, no, go back. back to defend. But yeah, I mean, the stats kind of back it up. They had 2 attempts on goal. They had 1 corner, 1 offside, and that was it. There were the stats for Iceland. England, of course, should have converted more in their chances. Some of them could have been hell of a lot more clinical, but yeah, I mean, 31 shots, 31 attempts, 11 on target, 11 off. So not, like I said, not exactly the most precise, but 9 blocked. So I will say for Runasdottir, who plays for Inter, she had a cracking game in goal. She really, really did. But it was really nice to see Lucy Bronze back. And on the score sheet, 22nd minute, and then turned provider for Georgia Stanway, who had a lovely volley for the second goal. So as much as more should have happened and definitely could have happened, at least it was a win. At least there were goals. And ultimately, we now top Group A3 because we scored those goals. And we are ahead of Spain on goal difference. But yeah, as Emily says there, shout out for Iceland's keeper. Yes, Runasdottir. I did feel sorry a bit for the commentator because I don't think he's really pronounced Icelandic names before. So he was a bit like, as soon as he got to like the 3rd or 4th Dottir, he was like, what's going on? He clearly didn't realise. But yeah, bless him. But yeah, really, they.
Who was it on commentary? Was it Seb Hutchinson? Because if it was on ITV, it was probably Seb Hutchinson.
Oh no, I mean in the stadium.
Oh, in the stadium.
Yeah. For all the subs and that, it was. Yeah, he was like, and it's Anna's Dottier for Wilhelm's Dottier, and he was just like, and another Dottier. And you can tell people watching in the stadium as well, who again didn't realise, they were just like, another Dottier. So yeah, I had to explain to Chloe Bear as well. I was like, even when you get married, you don't change your surname because you're not the Dottier of your husband's dad. So yeah, we had a good old conversation about different surnames, which was great. But yeah, Iceland really tricky, put up a good fight, but ultimately just couldn't find anything in attack. And we should have been more clinical. So yeah, 2-0 England. Right then. Other games, I think we've talked about everything on here, haven't we?
I do enjoy Emily shouting out Cecilia van Runersdottir, who was just on the goalie, and it annoys me with her. The thing that annoys me about her is commentators will always use just Runersdottir when her surname is Ran Runersdottir. It's a full thing. And why would you take Ran out? Because it's the Viking goddess of the drowned. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's
keep her in.
Badass middle name. Being named after the goddess that drags sailors to their deaths and keeps them in their watery whatever, and is the goddess of the waves. That's some Viking mythology. You don't get that on Counterpress. It's been a couple of weeks.
We don't need to keep comparing. We have our own podcast.
It's been a couple of weeks.
But yes, we like to give a bit of everything, don't we? But yeah, Randvunarsdottir was incredible. That's why I shouted her out as well.
Very good to sign on Football Manager as well, incidentally.
Well, there you go. Tip for the future, yes.
As is Linda Dalman.
Linda Dalman, yeah, she played really well.
Part of my treble winning 3 times in a row WSL Liverpool team.
I see you're doing well. You're doing well with that team.
You're improving up and do better than Gareth Taylor.
Well, there you go, Paul. Full time, Coventry 3, Preston North End 0.
Sorry, Chloe, get in there.
She's not watching it. Right then, so groups after match day 2. So remember, we've got another international break at the end of the Easter holidays / just after my birthday. We've got. Not that anyone knows when my birthday is. But yeah, after that section, we've got another 2 coming up. So at the moment in Group A1, we have Denmark and Sweden both on 4 points. Italy and Serbia on 1. Group A2, we've got France on 6 points, Netherlands on 4, Poland on 1, Republic of Ireland 0. Group A3, England on 6 points, Spain on 6 points, Iceland 0, and Ukraine 0 as well. And Group A4, Germany are on 6 points, Norway on 3, Slovenia on 3, and Austria on 0 points as well. So let's look into League B, shall we? Because Wales and Scotland also topping their groups, which is absolutely incredible to see. Wales, of course, with that massive 6-1 win over Montenegro, and Scotland had a double header against Luxembourg, won 5-0 and 7-0. So just completely smashing it there. Let's keep putting there. Norway had more shots on target against Germany than England did against Iceland, just to show Germany's defense was actually not that great. Does it? But never mind. But hey, we're on League B now, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, have a cast your eyes through there. Any scores stand out for anyone? Did we catch any highlights?
That Group B4 is going to be Scotland and Belgium, isn't it? Unquestionably.
What gives you that impression? Yes, if we look at B4, so you got Scotland and Belgium both on 6 points, Israel and Luxembourg both on 0. Israel with a -8 goal difference, Luxembourg with a -12. So yes, so unless something swings completely in a different direction, B4 is going to have Scotland and Belgium. However, remember, it's only the top, the top of League B go into a playoff with, oh God, I did have the rules up. The second or third team from League A. No, it must be the second. Hang on, I'll say that again. The top team from League B should go into a playoff with the second team in League A, because then the third team in League A go into a playoff with the top of League C. I think I've got that right. I do have the rules somewhere. I won't bore everyone with them. But yeah, if anyone does want to go check that out. So that loads of playoffs here. But my biggest thing is, especially with League B and even with League C, there's a lot of groups that fall in between the leagues. So really, if you've got well balanced matches against teams, in your leagues, we shouldn't be seeing 6-1, 7-0, 5-0, should we? And I know England won 6-1 against Ukraine, but ideally there should be 2 leagues, in my opinion. So you'll have the ones in League A and the top half of League B, and then the bottom half of League B and League C. So you've got a good mix of teams that can take on the higher clubs, if you like, higher countries, sorry. And there's none of this kind of system that really, there's just too many gaps.
I think you need to bring it down to 2 leagues. I think you could easily.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
2 leagues of 16 teams and have 4, or 12 teams is tricky, because even then you'd struggle with the way it works. But you could definitely add some teams to Group A rather than all this pissing about. We'll let Group B qualify, but they have to go through 47 different groups. You just turn around and say, right, okay, these are the top groups. At this point, we maybe need At this point, we maybe need a 2-tier, effectively, European Championship.
Yeah, and I truly believe that, because if you're finishing third in League A, your playoff place is against the top, the winners of League C. So that's a whole league and a half, essentially, of a gap, statistically. Yeah. So odds are you're probably going to win that. Obviously, there might be some shocks, etc. But really, that's not a fair way to do it, is it? It should be, if you're third in League A, you go against, I don't know, second in League B or something like that, and just make it more competitive.
The League of Nations is a stupid idea, and it was UEFA trying to make life more lucrative and try and pretend that all of this wasn't just pointless friendlies in between each qualifying cycle. And I don't think it's worked. No, it's settled in for a while.
Yeah, because they try to do it to get rid of your 12-0 against Luxembourg and things like that we saw. But really, in some of them, I mean, if we look at League C just quickly, we had a 13-1 Bosnia versus Liechtenstein. I mean, so we're still getting these huge.
Can I just say?
Yeah, go on.
I was watching India getting hammered by Japan.
Yeah.
And somebody sent me a screenshot of this Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Liechtenstein. And it just made me feel, and they were like 10-1 down at halftime.
Halftime, yeah.
And that did make me feel really better.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You are welcome. Bosnia will absolutely love that. Because there's it's hard how they if they ever do change in the future, because Scotland did get beat quite badly back when they were in Group A, but the issue is we see the same teams yo-yoing up and down, don't we? A bit like when we had in between the WSL and the WSL2, it was usually the same teams going up and down there. So I think more needs to be done to plug the gaps between these three. So I'll just, before we talk a bit about League C, I'll just go through the groups in League B. So B1. Oh, what were we going to say, Paul?
I was just going to say, B1, Wales thumping Montenegro and Czechia thumping Albania. Again, it's we know which two teams in that are competing for whatever.
The top spot. Yeah. I do just want to shout out for Wales, though. Mara Griffiths, again, she got a brace in this one, in the 6-1.
Because of Mara Griffiths, who's not good enough to play in the WSL, apparently.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. But also came on for Sunderland tonight. Yay. So she's fit and she's well managing minutes back at club. So Hannah Kane got 2, Beth Rowe got 1, Mara Griffiths got 2, and Sophie Ingle got 1 as well, which was incredible in that one. So just did want to shout Mara Griffiths out for there. So League B, as you said, Paul, so Wales and Czechia both on 4 points, Albania on 3, Montenegro on 0. B2, we can see Switzerland there got a 4-1 win over Malta. They are currently top of B2. Turkey is also on 6 points. They won 1-0 over Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland on 0 points, and so have Malta as well. Northern Ireland, though, they have got a new manager, haven't they? Matt McCardle. Taken over the post. So they haven't really been hitting probably where they would want to over the last couple of internationals. So fingers crossed this new leadership really brings them on as well. Group B3, Finland finally got a win. It was a disappointing loss, match day 1 for them to Portugal. But yeah, they managed to win 3-1 against Latvia. So Portugal top this group, B3, with 6 points. Finland have got 3, Slovakia have got 3, and Latvia have no points. And like we said earlier, from B4, Scotland have got 6, Belgium have got 6, Israel and Luxembourg without any points on the board yet. So Scotland doing really, really well. Was I going to say anything else there? Maybe, who knows? So now we get into League C, of course, which has got 6 groups. Funnily enough, top of C1 is Bosnia-Herzegovina. They're at the top there with 6 points. Lithuania on 4, Estonia on 1, Liechtenstein without any points.
They used off because you can't blame Bosnia because it was that tricky 10-0 lead at half time. So you can't blame them.
Well, when you put 10 past them. Because I remember, I think it was, I think it might have been Barry on the Monday pod said how many different goal scorers have Bosnia had. And they've had 12 different goal scorers over their tournament so far, which isn't bad, is it? Isn't bad at all. Kosovo, again, they're top of Group C2. They had a 6-0 win over Gibraltar, followed by just the one against Croatia. Gibraltar, however, getting a red card in their 5-0 loss to Bulgaria, so probably impacted that slightly when you're down to 10. So Kosovo at the top with 6 points, Croatia on 3, Bulgaria on 3, and Gibraltar on no points at all. We spoke a little bit about Hungary last week with their goalless draw to Andorra that no one could believe. But don't worry, order has been restored by a 2-0 win over Azerbaijan, as we can see there. And they're the top two in the group. Hungary 4 points, Azerbaijan 3, North Macedonia on 3 as well after their win against Andorra. And poor Andorra, who I think I remember from last week, they are 165th in the FIFA World Rankings, I think. So they're about 100 places lower than everyone else in their group.
I remember then, it's the equivalent of Watford having an international team.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Not Watford the team, Watford the town of Watford.
Yeah, the town of Watford. But they've still got a point, which is more than a lot of other countries have got at this point. Group C4, so now we're down into the groups that have only got 3 in. Greece have played 2 games, so they've got 6 points. And the Faroe Islands and Georgia have only played 1 each, and they have failed to pick up any points from those. So it looks like Greece are going to
play Greece
at the moment. Well, that's the thing, yeah. So Greece have played Georgia, that was 3-0, and they've played the Faroe Islands 2-0. So they've both got to play Greece again. So hopefully there will be some points in there somewhere for them.
That's got to be one of the longest away trips in Europe. Faroe Islands to Greece has got to be.
I know, it's not exactly down the road, is it?
from top left to bottom right, basically in Europe, like.
Yeah, it's you know. So for those who don't know, the Faroe Islands are in the North Atlantic between Norway and Iceland, so very, very far north. And then of course going down to Greece for this one. Looks beautiful though in the pictures. I just wanted to double check my geography before I start telling everyone.
We've got some of the most beautiful football pitches in the world, the Faroe Islands.
No, because did we talk about them before when you can just see like all these beautiful like mountains and the ocean things from.
It's like literally a long clearance ends up in the North Atlantic kind of thing.
Yeah. Just seagulls.
It's eaten by a whale. Like
just comes back up, just back on land. We've also got C5 then. As you can see, Romania with a 4-0 win over Cyprus. They're dominating this group. They've got 6 points. Moldova and Cyprus yet to win any points, but again, they've only played 1 match compared to Romania's 2. And we've also got Belarus on 3 points, Kazakhstan on 3 points, Armenia on 0 points there. So there could be a little fight indeed for the winner of Group C6. Oh, that was a lot of countries that we got through there. So yeah, so just 2 match days in. We've still got another 4 to go. So literally anything can happen.
Can we just mention the Gibraltar-Bulgaria game? The Bulgarians forgot their kit. So they had to play in the Gibraltar away kit.
Yes, yeah, of course. How can I forget that? Yeah, they. I mean, how can you forget to pack your kit? But yeah, because I saw the picture of it and I was like, I saw the picture before reading the caption. I was like, they're wearing the same. That's the same crest. What are they doing? Oh, they forgot to pack it, right? Okay. But hey, it didn't hinder them, did they? So they didn't do too badly.
Of course, down it always makes you laugh how you can spot the level of it by whether or not the shirts have names on the back. Because when you get down to like sea level, the countries don't have names on the back.
Which that's like a basic right, I think, of football to get your name on the back of a shirt. So it still like astounds me that some teams just put the number on. And it's just, and I know maybe if it's to do with finances, I think when I was watching the, what was I watching? I can't remember now. But yeah, it was a finance thing. So it doesn't have to be number 9 is so-and-so. It's just, we'll play our number 9, whoever that is for the moment. So I do understand it, but it's just like, you just wish we could get to that place where everyone could have their own shirt. Not playing Battleship tonight, Chris. Not tonight. Maybe next week.
On behalf of Coventry, by the way, thank you, Graham. Thank you, Charlton, for beating Middlesbrough.
Yes, good result and a bad result tonight for Charlton. But Graham, hope you're back and you're getting warm and you're having something sweet to take the pain away.
Back in the midst of time, Emily did mention something about Coventry should bring their women's team back. Well, that could be another benefit of promotion, because the line that has always come from Doug King and the Coventry owners is, whenever they've been asked about a women's team, is maybe when we get to the Premier League we'll think about it, because finances will look incredibly different then.
That's true.
So hopefully that will be revisited.
But you also don't want them to promise something they then won't sustain if something was then to happen, on the flip side to that.
True, but with the level that I suspect any Coventry branded women's team would be coming in at, unless they literally went back to rugby and bought the franchise out again.
Yeah.
Or we did what Man United did and just got told, right, your Premier League team, here you go in at Championship level, or Spurs. Not that we'll mention that or anything, but maybe we can sell them. We're a big club, put us in at Championship level. Does that, or maybe that doesn't happen anymore.
No, maybe not. Yeah, we've got the name. Come on, put us at a certain level. Put us at a certain level, indeed.
We're Premier League club. We could be at least a team. Get on with it.
Yeah, we're telling you where the team are going to play.
You're expanding the leagues. And you're expanding the leagues anyway, so give us a franchise. You've practically done it anyway. You let MK Dons exist.
Well, exactly. If there's all sticker points in the game, why not do it for Coventry as well? Now then, we've gone through all of the internationals that I think I could possibly mention. Does anyone have anything else from internationals they wanted to mention before we go on to this weekend and what's upcoming? I think we did a good bit of coverage there with I
think we've covered all the major international stuff. I think.
All major ones, yes. Just reading through that. Just feel so bad for the girls. They gave their all tonight, but the football goals just weren't aligned. Sophie was devastated at full time over the first goal. I did my best to lift her spirits. Even shortly a tweet for her, confirming it was a foul. Her parents are very appreciative of my efforts to pick her up. See, and this is why we need to go and support our teams. Thank you, Graham. I personally do think it's a foul because you just see Shepherd just barreling into her and taking her out. So some questionable refereeing during that match, I do have to admit. But you could argue, playing devil's advocate, that Karen Muir maybe should have got a red card for a high boot instead of the yellow that she did get.
I do hope you also reminded Sophie Whitehouse that she's conceded less than a goal a game this season.
Yeah, her incredible run, as it were. Because no, she is. I mean, look at it. Against only 12 goals against the whole season is something very, very incredible to be proud of. So Sophie, if you are watching this, on the off chance, we all think you're a cracking goalkeeper, and don't let the refs get you down, because we know what you can.
Also legendary for your humanity in the famous clip when a goal went when she got beaten by a free kick, and the Mike very clearly, as it beat her, just despairing shit as it went by her. Like, we love the humanity of our goalkeepers.
We do, we really do. Now, this weekend then, league football is back. Technically, if you don't count tonight, the majority is back from from this weekend, and it's not just the league coming back, of course. We have a certain League Cup final, which is a favourite amongst football fans. Paul, I think it's your particular favourite. Our issue is, and me and Kai were talking about this before we came on air, why on earth is a League Cup final on at pretty much the same time as the rest of the WSL games? because that to me doesn't make much sense. So I just wanted to kind of get opinions from you both. Does it feel like, one, it's really early this year, but also it feels like there's like no hype around it whatsoever? I mean, Kai, of course, your team are in the final. Have you seen much pushing it?
Not really. I think
Too, yeah.
seen a couple of interviews. I think a BBC did their podcast, speaking to a bunch of United as well as Chelsea players. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of hype. I think last season there was a lot of hype because, um, like Subway had taken over from Continental Tires, I think. So there was a bit of hype because of that, I think. But this
Sandwiches
time around,
everywhere. Yeah.
yes. But
I mean, it made for amazing
I
catering
think
at the final, is all I'm saying.
I was going to say you were there. Yeah.
maybe it's because it's happening right after an international break could also be a factor,
Yeah.
because people are just coming back, easing back into league football, switching gears a little bit. So all things considered, yeah, I do think the hype is not out there enough. Agreed.
Because Kai, as well, how do you feel that the final is being played at a neutral venue again? Do you quite like that it's neutral, or really when you look at where it is? Because Ashton Gate, for people who don't know, Bristol's still quite away, really, away from both Chelsea and United. So yes, how do you feel about a neutral venue?
I mean, I kind of like it for a final. I'm a big fan of having neutral venues for the finals, especially if it's just like a one-off match. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and in this particular case, it also feels a bit fair because both teams have to travel a fair bit. So
Yeah.
I think Manchester United maybe have to travel a bit more than Chelsea, but it's still an away day with some travel involved, so it does feel a bit fair. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, listen, all that logistics aside, hopefully the Ashton Gate pitch is playable as opposed to what that's weird sandy pitch that was
Yeah, it was
pitch
awful,
in the
wasn't it?
finals last season. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Pride
the pitch
Park.
basically forced the Yui Hasagawa own goal. Like, it takes a lot for that to happen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully at least the pitch is playable so that
Fingers
players
crossed.
deserve to play on like a good turf. So yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and really push for it. Because Emily's asked you there, Kai. One, are you excited for it? But also, from a Chelsea perspective, would you still consider it a successful season with top 3 in a Subway Cup? I mean, it still feels weird, Chelsea being like, "Oh, we've got top 3." But yeah, from your perspective, how are you feeling about this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, cups are there to be won. You have to go all in. I think, particularly in this season without the league, I think, for the last few seasons, the league has been given, like to Chelsea. It's a given that you're challenging for the league, and this time it's very clearly not the case. So, but I think to be honest, this match, the pressure is more on United than on Chelsea, because this is their only shot at silverware right now. Because unless they win the Champions League, which it's not impossible, but it's highly improbable. I just think, yeah, it's there because they're out of the FA Cup as well. They're probably not going to win the league. So this is their only real shot at silverware. So I expect United to like come all guns blazing in this game. That said, yeah, I'm excited about Chelsea. I feel like we've picked up a little bit of momentum, right before the international break, and hopefully that keeps going. And yeah, like you never say no to silverware. I know we all mock the League Cup, the Sandwich Cup, as we call it, but ultimately it's a trophy and you have to play to win it. It is what it is.
No, exactly. I mean, I think it would be a much better cup to win if it was the shape of a sandwich. I think that would be something special. Just a big baguette.
Like a PSV. No, but To Emily's
Yeah,
question of whether I would consider it a successful season, honestly, I'm really worried that Chelsea will not get Champions League. Uh, that top three position again looks a bit shaky with United as well as Arsenal playing reasonably well. So I'm a little nervous about that. But I mean, I think a deep run in the Champions League is, I feel like at this point, like with the expectations that Chelsea have, like not making a Champions League final at this point becomes like a not successful season. At least Champions League
yeah.
semi-final, which is again it's going to be a tough one because of course we drew Arsenal in the quarterfinals. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ride because once you get to the latter stages of these competitions, obviously they're the hardest parts, aren't they? So keep saying, I feel like all the talk at the beginning of the season, Chelsea set themselves up that everything but a Champions League would feel like a bad season. I think as well, once you've won everything though as well, it kind of gets to a point where you're like, yeah, but that's the thing we haven't won. So that's what we need to push for. Nessie saying, some sandwich fallacies, but blah. Do we need a more relevant sponsor? Oh, that could open a can of worms. I mean, sandwiches are nice. Subway sandwiches are quite nice. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it fits, does it? Doesn't fit.
Something else is like a third tier thing that everybody doesn't really like, but kind of accepts. Like car company wise, it'd be like Dacia or something.
See, in my head, I've just got like Jeremy Clarkson's voice being like Dacia Duster, like that's it.
No, it'll be one of those. There's all those Chinese brands now that more and more people are driving that you see on over. It's like JQ and all that sort of stuff. It'll be the JQ Women's League Cup.
Yeah, but that sounds cool though. That sounds so cool.
Polestar Women's League Cup. I don't know.
I heard porn star. I was like, that's completely different to porn
I mean,
star.
it goes back to the sub cup, doesn't it? Really?
Everything comes back to the sub cup. But yes, Paul, for you, Chelsea versus United then in this final, how do you see it going?
I mean, I think Man United will want to send a message, but they've got Mark Skinner as manager, so they'll be incredibly boring. And Chelsea have Sonia Bonpasta, who is on a mission to suck flowing football out of the WSL as well. So
together, they won't do anything.
I mean, together, it'll just be like freaking. It'll be like the Philosopher's Football match from Monty Python. There'll be just groups of people standing there, and the commentators desperately trying to make really boring shit sound interesting.
And did you see the post?
Who has an existentialist view of the world is through on goal, and Fallon Tullis-Joyce is questioning our very existence, and frankly, so are we for watching this shit. But anyway, literally.
Who wants to hear Paul's commentary at the weekend? Because I think that would be really fun.
Live watch along. I mean,
but no,
we can support each other through it, just like
everyone tune in. We'll do it. But yeah, I agree with Emily. As someone obviously supporting Villa, I'd love to get to a final. So although we jest, of course, as Kai rightly said, it is still a cup. It is still a trophy, and it still means something.
It is still a cup, but it needs to die. It needs to be put out of its misery. And we just have the FA Cup and the league with maybe expand another 2 teams so there's more space for a league, and just sack the League Cup off.
Sack it off.
Just stop pretending anybody gives a shit. Stop pretending it's anything other. Stop pretending it's anything other than a way to market mediocre sandwiches.
Mediocre? Oh, you're not getting the right sandwich on.
I'm not getting the right sandwich artist, which is what they actually describe themselves as.
Not getting the right sandwich. Not mediocre. But yes, I mean, it'll be. I think again, being the first game back after internationals as well. I think it is anyone's up for grabs. I think United, the way they've been playing football, I think they're definitely going to pose a threat. They're definitely going to frustrate Chelsea, and it'll then be up to Chelsea a bit, like you said, the pressure's on United really to keep Chelsea out. So we've seen what Chelsea can do under pressure.
I do hope the thing that saves, because Emily's reacted fairly strongly to my recent Cup. I do hope that taking out the only 3 teams to have ever won it might make it more interesting.
Yeah, so someone new can actually come in and.
So it's actually, and then if you then put on the end of it, right, it's the winner of the League Cup goes into the Europa League, then it really makes life interesting.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Yeah, because with the Europa Cup growing, I think even if it's, winner of the League Cup, whatever, but also if we're looking at league finishing positions, so 1 to 3 Champions League, 4, 5, and 6 in Europa Cup, like that would be so much better, wouldn't it? Because then you've got something to fight for.
To play in your, well, no, not half the league because the league is expanding slightly, but pretty much half the league get to bracket European play.
Get to do something, because imagine when Villa finished 5th, remember that time, imagine if there was some another reward for that, because no one ever gets a reward for finishing 5th apart from the fans who are like, oh my god, we did it, but to get that extra incentive, it makes it worth it, doesn't it? It makes clubs want to invest now. I just think it's an extra bit. Paul, question for you from Nessie. Paul's comment about Sonia sucking free-flowing football out of the league. Is that why Bronzy is so good for England, especially when her contract is up? Because she's actually allowed to be creative. Be nice.
Perhaps, or just she is more like, she doesn't disappear into the crowd with England so much. Because she's a squad player at Chelsea now, let's face it. Billy Carpenter there. She is probably considered a squad player, whereas with England, rightly or wrongly, she's still considered one of the key drivers. She gets a lot more possession. Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, apart from anything else, I would love maybe the teams to go into the second round of the Women's Europa Cup, like 3rd, 4th, and 6th. Because imagine, for example, getting to welcome young boys to Villa Park, or Sparta Prague, or Hammarby, or Austria Wien.
That's the thing, facing against these other European teams, like that experience is invaluable. Like, you're not going to get that playing Leicester every other week, are you? Like, no offense, Leicester. But yeah, I mean,
at this point in the season as well, because if you're not chasing the top 3, you're not down there. It's kind of in the point where that middle group of teams are just like, well, we'll just try and finish as hard as possible. If it's
we'll just get to the end of the season.
And it's a further selling point for your 4th, 5th, 6th teams of, hey, European qualifying, European competition. It might not be the UWCL, but you'll get to play teams like Ajax, PSV Eindhoven, Frankfurt, who are quality teams and quality players. You look at Frankfurt's women's squad, for example, and you go, actually, who wouldn't want to see the likes of Geraldine Reuteler at Villa Park, or Nadine Reason, or Lara
Honestly,
Frank?
I just think it would revolutionise it so much, and it's what the league needs, because it is getting a bit stale, like you said, for those teams who are stuck in the middle. It's like, okay, well, we'll keep playing because we want points, but there's nothing else to get. We're out the cups. We're out. Not getting relegated. We're not going to win. We're just kind of stuck in a bit of limbo. So I hope that is the way that it goes, because it needs it really. Right then. So final thing we'll come on to, and then we'll wrap up for this evening. So predictions then for the weekend. So this is what the next game week looks like. We had a comment earlier about, are we always going to have 11:55 kickoffs? Yeah, I think it's looking like it due to broadcasting, so that the men don't miss their slot, because those men, they can't miss it, can they? So we've got Liverpool, Leicester, Villa, Man City, Spurs, Everton, and London City, Arsenal on Sunday. And then, of course, due to the final, we've got Chelsea, Brighton, West Ham, Man United next Wednesday. That's going to be fun during the pod. So any Sunday matches catch anyone's eye? Apart from an obvious one that's probably going to end 10-0.
Which I am probably not now going to, because I don't fancy taking on the Trinity Road Stand steps.
No.
I literally haven't walked anywhere. I tried to walk to the doctor's today to walk half a mile, and I looked like I was in a war film. Honestly, dragging me down. So I'm a bit sad about missing that one. Liverpool, Leicester. I think if Liverpool win that, Leicester are in real trouble.
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree.
I think that's a big 6-pointer. Particularly, you would expect Man United to beat West Ham as well. So if Liverpool do beat Leicester, then they can pull away. And I'm just going back to look at the table, because I'm looking at the WSL 2 table at the moment. So there we go. Yeah, if Liverpool do win that, they go above West Ham.
Yes.
2 points clear of West Ham and 4 points clear of Leicester. And suddenly things look very different to the way they looked at Christmas.
They do indeed. And I know Chris and Emily have put their predictions in. Thank you. Liverpool 2-1 over Leicester. Villa. If it's 2-1 Villa City, I will eat my hat, Chris, to be honest. I'd love it to be, because that was our score for ages. Everything was 2-1. So yeah, I'd love that again. Everton win over Spurs. Interesting. I don't know how that one's going to go. I don't think I can quite call that one. Arsenal 3-1 over London City. Emily, surprisingly, going Liverpool 2, Leicester 0. 4-1. Yeah, I said I spoke to our lovely friend Crunk last night for a Villa City preview, and I said realistically it's going to be like a 4-1, 3-4-1. If it can be a 2-1, that'd be great. But realistically, there's going to be a lot of goals coming in. After 3, yeah, 3-0 Spurs Everton. Yeah. Kai, any predictions from you from this weekend? Anything like interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Liverpool-Leicester game is obviously probably the most important from like a season table perspective. I'm excited to see London City Lionesses versus Arsenal. They've sold out the stadium, which I'm sure Arsenal fans have all bought tickets at the home end, I'm sure.
Yeah, they said it was the first time, didn't they, that has been sold out?
Yeah, it's going to be like 100 LCL fans and then the rest of it all Arsenal fans. But I mean, I don't think there's going to be an upset, but again, when teams come back, like LCL also have like international players, right? Like all these teams have players who've gone away for international break, but potentially, I don't know, it can be a tight match, something to look out for. Spurs, Everton, yeah, I think Spurs have that in the bag, unfortunately. But yeah, I think anyway, I think the fixtures are all pretty interesting to me, especially the Spurs, Everton, and the Liverpool.
Yeah,
Leicester.
I think in a kind of nice way now, there's a lot of uncertainty. So whereas before it was like, oh yeah, winner. Now it's like, oh, actually, that's a bit tighter. In other news this week, Brian Sorensen is now at Villa. Hey, as technical advisor. Some strange people on the internet are now saying, oh, that's because he's going to be manager next and they're forcing Natalia out. And it's like, well, how does that work?
No, I was curious. I didn't see the people on the internet, but the thought did cross my mind. If Arroyo does not get results, but I mean, I love Arroyo as a manager. I think Villa would be stupid
Yeah,
to
I
part ways
really
with
like
her.
her. Yeah, I think some fans in particular that are the first to shout when things go wrong are the ones that go, sack the manager. And I think the same ones that want Natalia out are the ones who wanted Sean Gorter to get the job permanently. So now because he's gone, they're now feeling a bit rattled of why is he gone?
Why were you pleased that he went, by the way? Because your reaction to
Because
him
we
going
can't score.
Oh,
he's meant to be a forwards coach, and we did nothing. But it wasn't. So it wasn't even that. So obviously, Kirsty Hansen, she's come on loads, and we had a chat about it, and we said, look, no one can deny what Sean Gorter has done in his career, what he did at City, but unfortunately, we didn't see any progress, especially with players like Ebony Salmon, like even the thinking, the setup, the intelligence on the ball, that kind of thing. Like, just nothing really seemed to change. So we said maybe it was just a case of it didn't fit, and that is okay. That's fine. He can move on. So yeah, he didn't really add anything, unfortunately. That we saw anyway. So yeah, excited to see Brian come in, obviously with all his experience. Now then, WSL 2, we'll go through these quickly. We've got one Saturday game. We've got Sheffield, Newcastle at 6:00, and the rest are on Sunday. I think for me, Charlton, Sunderland is obviously going to be a big one. Now Charlton are a bit rattled. Could Sunderland do something there? But yeah, Paul, Kai, anything for you there?
Palace, Forest.
Yeah.
Because of Palace's. I'm not in mic over, so you probably know that well. Palace, Forest.
Yes.
Because particularly with Charlton, just showing a slight hint that they may be vaguely catchable.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be really, really interesting. As Chris says there, early start for Durham. Going to Ipswich for a midday kickoff. Yes, early one indeed. But yeah, watch this space because as we've
Palace
seen,
do win and Southampton get anything out of Birmingham, Palace go second.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, yeah, watch this space because all of the upsets could still come. The NWSL is also back this weekend, so if you're a fan, I think they start from Saturday at midnight, Friday night, midnight, maybe Saturday our time, and then go through the rest of the weekend. 2 new expansion teams, of course, and we're very, very excited to see how that pans out. So we've just hit the 2-hour marks. That seems like a perfect time to end it there. So my huge thanks to Kai and Paul for joining me this evening, and thank you to everyone in the chat for your thoughts. We really, really do appreciate you, and we'll see you at the same time next Wednesday. Good evening and